So a very useful tool for tapping into your imagination is, as you go about your day, if you can pay attention to little scenes and little moments that are happening around you, and if it pleases you and you want that for yourself, make a mental note of that scene and put that in your imagination and think to yourself, I'm going to think about that later, and I'm going to ponder what it would be like for me to live that scene, to live in that moment, in that emotion, and what it would feel like for me, and just for the pleasure of it. And there's got to be absolutely no goal for this other than I want to feel good more of the time. And a lot of us used to do this when we were kids. We would sit there and fantasize about stuff and what it would be like to do this and what it would be like to do that, because we had a lot more hope back then. And nowadays we get very reality based, and we get very focused on what is already manifested in our world. When you add in your imagination into that equation, and you start to add into your cake, essentially, if you can see your life, your physical reality as a cake, and the ingredients that you've been putting into it is your thoughts. If you have started to just put thoughts in there that are just sort of, observing what is, that's fine if your life is already pleasing. But if your life is really frustrating for you right now and you're just observing what's going on, and so you're just putting thoughts into this cake of more frustration, then you're not going to get a different cake by the end of it. But to change it without actually changing anything in your external reality, you can still have the same cake and start putting into it these beautiful thoughts of, imagination and excitement and joy and ecstasy and fun. Like, if you want a child and you saw a mother and a child having a beautiful moment, you could use that in your imagination, generate a beautiful emotion from it, and then that would be added into your cake. And so if you do this enough and you start adding in enough beautiful emotional thoughts and emotional scenes that you use in your imagination, if you add enough of those into this cake, then your external reality has to start to show you what your internal reality has been doing. And so if you make your internal reality a beautiful place to be, one full of wonder and joy and love and ecstasy and expansion and fun and adventure, if you make those thoughts most predominant in your thought life, then your external reality has to reflect the essence of what you have been thinking about. So the positive things that you were thinking about when you were imagining these scenes and scenarios, those are actually going to start to show up in your experience.